under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO Directorate in the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Other things that amendments do is to bind the states so they're no longer recommendations but enforceable edicts, enforce digital passports, and the Director General of WHO can demand that a pandemic or a potential pandemic exists. He can just declare it with no standards, and then countries around the world will have to obey. One Health is another part of this. One Health is a concept that was created to enable the WHO, with these documents, to take over jurisdiction of everything in the world by saying that climate change, animals, plants, water systems, ecosystems are all central to health. Also embedded in this concept is a peculiar notion that humans are no longer of greater value than animals.
Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts.
The explanation of the medical profession in the United States, and that is Satanism and occult practices. And here again, we go back to the ancient world, the Babylonians, when they built in Pergamos the great temple of Asclepius, the largest healing center in the entire ancient world. And it was named after Aias, the son of Apollo, who became the healer. But he healed not by God or through God or by purification, which is the ancient healing method of every people in the world, but to do it by artificial means, by what they call Pharmakia. Now, what does Pharmakia mean? You know, the pharmaceutical industry takes their name from that. Pharmakia means, in ancient Greek, means sorcery or witchcraft. And so this is the basis of the pharmaceutical industry in the United States. This is why they use chemicals and drugs to induce unnatural results in the human system. So Aias and his father, Apollo, the sun god, each of them appeared on earth as a serpent. So what do we have as the emblem of the medical profession? You have the twined serpents, the caduceus, which is Aias and Apollo, that is, at the occult. And it is salvation through the material flesh, not salvation through God. And it comes from the temple of the occult. So when you walk into a doctor's office or you walk into a hospital, then you're walking into a temple of the occult. The established medical system is one huge burglary ring, and they're doing it through the hospitals and the AMA. And that is why the AMA has their medical monopoly, and this is why the drug trust has their medical monopoly. This is why they operate through the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. Soon after they set it up, of course, the drug companies moved in and took it over. The Food and Drug Administration does no testing. They simply accept the results which are sent in by the drug trust companies. And of course, the drug trust companies, when they send in their test results, they omit or they lose, they forget to send all of the toxic side effects that destroy the liver and the heart and the brain and the kidneys. And so people start taking these drugs, and then many of them are die very soon afterwards because of these toxic side effects.
and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God,